Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. It's interesting ideas for a Sunday night, for the Sunday night meeting, and we're glad that you could join us. Hopefully, it will be a little bit helpful, perhaps thoughtful, maybe a touch of a smile, and that might be true today as I'm just simply putting the title up there. I'm delighted to speak well of his name. I'm delighted to speak well of his name. Well, what does that mean? Let's talk about that, because I think that could be something that, as the story will do, it will talk to you about the things of the Spirit, but also things of the Spirit are things that we can bring right home to planet Earth. And if you'll give me just a few minutes this evening, let me share some of those thoughts with you on what is, for many people, certainly a difficult day. I'm Stan Houston. The program begins right now. A little bit subdued today. There are a lot of difficult things going on. First of all, my wife is in for her second surgery of the year, at least that it seems, and she had third day, you know the deal. Third day, the pain can really be tough. Well, she's getting through that with my help. I'm hopefully being a good caregiver. And there's still quite a bit of stuff that has to happen, and physical therapy. But the surgery went well, and the procedure seems to be successful. But, of course, there's always that pain in the afterwards, and that's when all of us want to be good caregivers, good partners. And so I went through that bit of work today, helping her get through the day. But she's doing better, and I'm grateful for that. However, the first thing when I woke up this morning, and I get up very early, was the news about the shooting in California. And once again, a mass shooting on the celebration, of course, of the what is called the Lunar New Year. Some people call it the Chinese New Year, but of course it is something that is not only Chinese, but it's very much in parts of the Asian world. And of course, among many Chinese around the world, it is their very, very special day, and here it is. Somebody, some evil soul, has picked up a gun, and supposedly we know very little about him, except that recently the news was that perhaps a suspect was on the run, and perhaps they were going to catch him, but a sad, sad day again. What is it all about? And most of the news is not very pleasant. And that's why I appreciate it when from time to time I come across some things that made me feel good. And what happened is I was able to find 2 or 3 stories that would be helpful and useful. So interesting ideas, I try and make it a little 10, 15, no more than 20 minutes, kind of a word of instruction, inspiration, and encouragement every day. And I have a number of those stories that I can share with you, so I look forward to that. So, here we go. Here's the deal. Years ago, there was a very well-known, I guess you would call him an evangelist, a preacher, but he was primarily involved in a cause near and dear to my heart, and that is dealing with children, and particularly with orphan children. So he's a man of great faith, of the Spirit, and he was a man of a great accomplishment in terms of just doing good for people. And his name was George Muller. And some of you probably have heard of him, late 19th century, early 20th century. And in one of the situations, he's talking about his faith. And this is supposedly the word that he said. He says, God has never failed me for 44 years. You know what? He has never failed me. In my greatest difficulties, in my heaviest trials, In deepest poverty and necessities, he has never failed me, but because I was enabled by his grace to trust him, he has always appeared for my help. He has always appeared for my help. And this is what I underlined. I delight in speaking well of his name. I delight in speaking well of his name. I underlined that, and I just simply said, in my own faith and practice, that's something I should do too. Delight. Delight is such a delightful word, isn't it? I delight. Pleasure, delight, great and good feelings. But then I just carried it one step further, and again, this is just a short time. I'm out for the week, and I'm going to do a number of things, challenging, but isn't it nice to be able to say, and perhaps to make it a discipline, that as you work with, encourage, help, to simply say, I delight in you. I delight in speaking your name. I delight in your friendship. You know what? I'm delighted that you are a customer and a client. That word has some real strength to it. I delight in your name. I delight in your presence. I delight in being with you. I delight in knowing you. I delight in sharing your name with others. I delight in your name. Certainly a wonderful thing to say to God, and a great thing to do in terms of those of us who feel strongly about that. But then to take that same wonderful word, that D word, and just begin to use it. So this week, as you start to do your work, think about, write it down, DELIGHT, put it on a little, piece of paper somewhere, put it on your desk, and in the week that's before you, think of how many times perhaps as a compliment, as a word of encouragement, as a word of whatever that builds up the mind, spirit, and soul of another, you can use the word, I delight in you, your name, your work, your presence, the things you show, and really the person you are. Just an interesting idea for a better week. I'm Stan Houston, and that program is just about done, except please give me just a word of self-promotion, and I hope you'll delight in that too. I'm Stan Houston. The program is Interesting Ideas, brought to you by What It Takes Radio, the What It Takes Radio Company, and I'll be right back. Well, I would be delighted to tell you more about what we can do to help you, and I would be delighted if you would help us, this new project that we've told you about, every week, and every week we'll have one or two programs, and the second one, we launched it the week before, and now we're launching you might say program 2 in it, called the Jesus Entrepreneur Experience. And what we're trying to do is to show you as an entrepreneur that the master entrepreneur was not only the one who proclaimed his relationship to God, but it also he was, maybe still is in that sense, an entrepreneur, and you can learn how to delight in your entrepreneurship by actually learning some incredibly practical, useful, and powerful principles on how to be a world-class, successful entrepreneur. That program begins to keep rolling this week, and if you'd like to know more about it, please reach out to me at stanhouston@gmail.com, stanhouston@gmail.com. May your week go well. May your difficulties be minimal as best as can be. May your opportunities be great, and may you find things that help you delight not only in His presence, but in the presence of others. Best and blessings to you. Take care. Till tomorrow. Bye for now.